let's go back and talk briefly about the Knockout Chaos card from Saudi Arabia, headlined by Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Josh, let's come to you first on this one. It was a pretty explosive display. A lot of people weren't too sure beforehand, like what Ngannou might bring to the table, following his decent fight against Tyson Fury. So I guess it shocked a lot of people, maybe, but a lot of people also expected what happened. Good result for Joshua. Give us your take on it, Josh.
Like, it's the knockout of the year, if not anything, thus far. And I think that's just given the stakes that were involved with it. I do think that the promotion for the event was pretty solid. They did a lot of good things in relation to that, and we ultimately had a lot of interest in this contest, both boxing fans and MMA fans, which also brought about a number of opinions as well. So you could ask a random group of people, and there were likely going to be a number of varying opinions on who they expected to come out on top. Given that Anthony Joshua has shown vulnerabilities in the past, there were those that felt that Ngannou would be able to touch him with something and potentially upset the apple cart in a bit, in a similar fashion to what Andy Ruiz was able to do. Now, this version of Joshua is a version of Joshua that will be tough for any heavyweight on any given day. And I think that what he followed up with from that Otto Valine fight, working with Ben Davison, that seems to have given him more of that edge that he needed and at least was trying to get back prior to what happened in the Ruiz contest, because he had a period thereafter where you could say he was a bit timid in some situations, a bit more cautious. And that mindset that he seems to have in place right now is almost a seek and destroy type of mindset. And I like this version of Joshua. I like seeing him and knowing that he is going to go out there and use his God given abilities, because he has the capability to be one of those guys that could dominate certain types of opponents and a level of opponent. And I think that he will be a big challenge for Tyson Fury were the two to meet at some point down the road. But in this contest, of course, I think the ship was righted. This is something Tyson Fury probably should have done, and maybe he was capable of doing so if in top shape and truly focused. But Anthony Joshua, he did not take Ngannou lightly, and he made sure that he came in there on a mission. And it seems as though the world of boxing was resting heavily on his shoulders, because had he come out with a dud in a similar capacity to Tyson Fury, then I don't think the heavyweight division in boxing could have lived that down as far as the varying opinions from MMA fans alike. But Ngannou, props to him for getting in there with Joshua, really thinking he had a chance, but ultimately it shows you that a boxer who's been doing it longer than an MMA fighter, certainly by miles, should and usually does come out on top if they join the boxing ranks looking to compete for the first time. So, or in Ngannou's case, the second time. So props to Joshua. Now I want to see him in one of these real deal big fights with the true champion that is out there, whether that's Usyk or Fury, or maybe we see a rematch with Joseph Parker. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll come on to Parker shortly after this one. Alex, what was your verdict on that one?
Yeah, shout out to Josh, man. I remember he called the knockout. I was thinking that Joshua was going to be a bit more timid, and that was anything but timid, man. I had a lot of worry with the way that Ngannou was able to overperform against Fury. I felt that there was going to be a bit of a reaction that we're going to see within the ring from then on with Francis Ngannou, because we saw how tough it was for him. I'm sorry, for Fury inside that ring, who's seen as basically number one, and for some reason, some people's minds number two heavyweight in the world. Joshua didn't give a fuck. He didn't care. I love it. I love the new attitude that he's showing, or as some people like to put it, the old Joshua. I don't really believe it's the old Joshua. I think this is the best Joshua we have yet to see. Of course, you look at the last two opponents, were they the top level? Probably not. But I think the number one, it's never been a question on skills. It's been a mindset. When the going's gotten tough, we've seen Joshua do some things that maybe, doesn't give us much confidence because of his lack of perceived confidence inside that ring or even before the fights. That seems to have been all tightened up. I love it. This is exactly what boxing needs. A guy with this that basically draws as much attention, to the heavyweights. And as you see, Saudi Arabia has invested in the heavyweights. Basically, if you're a top heavyweight, you are in a rumored Saudi Arabia fight. I mean, what's next for him? It's obvious, right? Tyson Fury versus Usyk winner. However, you gotta love the business, right? They have a rematch clause. Who knows how things are gonna go when it comes to that? We already seen it postponed once. So Joshua, could he fight Daniel Dubois? Like Josh mentioned earlier, a rematch with with Parker, or could it be something else? Could we still get the Deontay Wilder fight for some reason, or is there something else being cooked up that can arise that maybe Joshua just wants basically just a fight to keep active once again, to go ahead and maintain his position, to go ahead and give us a fight that I think a lot of fans want to see, especially people of the heavyweights. Congratulations to Anthony Joshua. Thank you for keeping boxing, on top of MMA fighters, to not give us, that gut punch. He took care of business exactly how it should be, pure domination and with a highlight reel knockout.
Absolutely. You kind of begged for that in our last stream, I believe. So, he granted you your wish there, Alex. Yeah, it was a good display. And like I say, we've put things right in terms of those kind of showcase events.